Inviting Dr. Sai for his presentation.
Thank you, Dr. Smita and your team for having me here. I'm not a great publisher. I'm not very good at publishing. I think the only qualification that I have to be here today is that I'm going to take over as president of KSOS today. So please pardon me. I've got stalwarts in the field of publishing. I think Dr. Santosh has not come. So I'll just briefly give an overview. Some of these things are going to be repeated by the speakers coming up in this session. So I'll just give us some brief thoughts about publishing, with the vast experience in clinical work that I have, although I have not published much. So the first question that should come to your mind is, why should I publish? So I was speaking to a very successful cataract surgeon in Kerala, a very close friend of mine. I won't mention his name. He has his own, big cataract setup. And we were talking about publishing somewhere, and the first thing he asked was, "Ninakku vera paniyonnu ille?" This was the first question that he asked. So he is successful in his practice. He is a very good clinician. He has a very successful practice. He makes a lot of money. So he is asking me, why should you publish? Tell me one reason why you should publish. So this is the first question that should go to the mind of the youngster sitting in this audience. There are enough and more reasons for you to publish, and you have to take this up and make sure at least one publication a year you should write. And it can be a small journal, it can be a high impact journal, but at least one publication a year you should do at this stage of your career. Why should you do that? One is dissemination of information probably which is already available in the domain, but something you can add on to that information. Collaboration with multiple institutions, that is a very big thing. And this is one of my dreams as president of KSOS, at least one collaborative work within organizations in Kerala. Maybe 4 or 5 medical colleges, 4 or 5 institutions who do premium work in a particular subspecialty. If we can work together for at least one collaborative project, I think that will increase the value of KSOS and KJO, and it will take it up many rungs higher. It can be a review of existing techniques or technologies. Recently, one of our one of our fellows was presenting a journal. It was a review of secondary intraocular lenses published in ophthalmology. Ophthalmology is one of the high impact journals as far as we are concerned. So this is an article on secondary IOLs, and they have compared anterior chamber IOL, SF IOL, all the types of IOL, iris claw, everything. And even now, I was very surprised after hearing that the only FDA approved IOL even now is AC IOL. Anterior chamber IOL is the only FDA approved IOL. I came to know only after seeing that article. So there are journals which bring you these things, so you can use it as something to review existing techniques or technologies, rare cases and series you can present, and finally service requirements. So now you have reached a stage where if you want a promotion, you need a publication. And now for even the postgraduate students, if you want to write the exam, the new NMC guidelines has come that you need one paper, one poster, and one publication during your 2 or 3 years of career. So I've given you, I think, enough reasons to publish. Choose your subspecialty wisely. It also depends on the seniority and the institution that you're working. During your postgraduate or fellowship days, probably you cannot decide on what I'm going to publish. You may have to publish something that your professor tells you. But as you grow up in your specialty, you choose your area of interest, and publication gives you stature and credibility in your career, in your name, for your institution, and for your CV. So why do we know Dr. Santosh Honawar? We know him as a good friend. We know him as the editor of IJO. We know him as an excellent surgeon doing a lot of work in his area. But the most important thing is the number of peer-reviewed publications, that is his own original work. So 100+ works he has. So that improves his value in the community. So if you want to increase your value within your ophthalmic fraternity, you have to look at publications. Choice of journal, we all know, I mean, these are all general things. You have general journals, you have focus journals. So focus journals would be something like Journal of Glaucoma, Journal of Cataract and Refractive Surgery. General journals would include IJO, Ophthalmology, American Academy, American Journal of Ophthalmology. You all know the peer review process. First it goes through an editorial review. I think we'll be talking more about it as the session progresses, and then you have the peer review, and finally, and once you send a journal and reply comes immediately, don't be happy, because most probably it has been rejected right at the editorial review itself. Don't think it has been accepted. So look at your target audience, impacts factor, indexing and all. We are going to have further talks. Read the author guidelines well before you think of publishing. Write according to the requirements of a particular journal. So find out what sort of manuscripts that particular journal accepts. For example, ophthalmology does not accept case reports. Okay, so don't send a case report to ophthalmology. So write a manuscript according to the journal that you want to publish. And preparing a good manuscript, again, we have a very good talk on that. So I'm not going into the details. But, write according to whether it is an original article, whether it is a case report. And now for case reports, we have a separate journal in IGO. So we have something called IGO case reports. So that also gives us a lot of opportunity to focus on individual case reports. And what I found is that more than writing the full text, writing the abstract is a big art. Many of our fellows or PGs, once they finish a text, they'll just bring it to me, sir, can you please have a look, help me in preparing the abstract. Abstract preparation is very difficult, because you have to concise many things into a very cute, very attractive abstract, and that, requires a lot of, work. So finally, I would say introspect on your article, self-assess as to whether this is a good paper or not. Find out what is the strength of your study. It may not be a very big study or a big RCT or something. Even a small study, if you can drive home a point, I think that will be the strength of the study. Is your statistics and methodology sound enough? That is very important. When you are publishing an original article, statistics and methodology of the study is very, very important. If you are presenting a case, find out whether the particular case is relevant enough to be published. And finally, get criticism or comments from your colleagues. Circulate it among your own staff, your own colleagues, and find out whether there is anything grossly wrong with this paper. So with these few introductory remarks, we'll go on the session. Dr. Smita and his team will take on with the session. So happy publishing, and all the very best to all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Sai, for that wonderful introduction. So, why to publish? Most of the points have been very lucidly elaborated. The publish or perish is the motto we have all heard, but maybe to put it in a positive manner, it is better to say publish and flourish, because these are the days, there is no threat. There is a veiled threat in publish or perish, but the positive aspect is, if you want to flourish in whatever you want to do, it is publish and flourish. So that's a positive way of looking at it. And any work you do, any word you say gets lost over time. But any work you publish is a signature you are putting. It is a proof of the work that you have done in your professional life. So it's very, very important to get your work published for posterity also.